30 minutes of friends talk about everything that matters to women. Welcome to the lounge.
Someone that specializes in early childhood education. So this evening we have with us Sarah Lamy, of course. Good evening, Sarah, and welcome to our gathering.
Good evening, dear.
Yes, we're very glad to have you here with us today.
Thank you, Habibti. Thank you.
And we honestly have loaded of questions. Reciprocs, I'm an aunt, so I'm excited to know more about the education.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So can you tell us a bit more about your background regarding childhood education?
Well, sure. I'm a founder and a general manager kids nursery since 11 years ago.
That's impressive.
Yes, and my message for that and my goal is that to create a very meaningful and joyful learning environment for them. And I wanted to be up to date without technology.
Right.
That's my message here, yes.
I think that's
Yes.
amazing. Personally, I don't have any children for me or in the family right now. So I really want to understand how things work now. You know, I've
Definitely.
graduated from school a very long time ago. So how does it work for children now? When do you think they should start going to a nursery, start learning, or should it even start at home in the beginning?
Well, it's there's so much big change than what you've thought what kids are.
Exactly.
And nowadays kids. Yeah, there's a big change. Okay, nowadays their English is good. Mostly they come to me. My nurseries are bilingual nurseries.
Nice.
Interesting.
And yes, and I take kids from 2 months till 5 years old.
Amazing.
So we have toddlers, pre-KGs and KGs. So the pre-KGs, they already come to me with English.
Yeah.
They can have
Amazing.
full conversation in English and they're good. Yes, we do need the Arabic. But you're gonna be surprised how much English they have.
Yes.
Before 10 years back ago, no. All parents, they ask that I need them to be more in English. They have to be more fluent in English. So nowadays, no. They're ready for that.
Ready for
Things
yes,
are different.
Yes. And they ask me, we need them to know Arabic and math.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. That's actually really interesting, even mentioning that the nursery is bilingual.
Yes.
Bilingual. So how do you actually, let's say, balance between the two languages? I know some kids, as you mentioned, already come in with knowing more English than Arabic.
Yes.
So how can you balance, introducing the Arabic language to the
Yes.
ones who have it, let's say, weaker?
Yes. Well, the curriculum that I'm using is which calls, if you heard about it, the Montessori.
Yes.
Yes.
So Montessori, basically, it's about experience. And when they have the experience, they have the knowledge. It's not about I give them classes and they sit and I go along and repeating the letters and the words in Arabic or English. So experience, and they explore that and they get the knowledge
Nice.
very quickly. Yeah.
Definitely. So it's all through play, as you've mentioned, the Montessori.
Well, yes, that's a wrong definition
Okay.
of the Montessori.
Okay.
Yeah, and I always highlight that,
Okay.
that the Montessori, it's not about playing.
Okay.
It's not playing. We do merge things. It shows to you parents, it's like an play area.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it's in a workshop
Yeah.
where you can find sand and I can give them the knowledge of the letter K, let's say, or A in the sand area.
Yes.
So they can experience the texture of sand, they can pour the sand with the letter area.
Yes.
Here what it goes. So they are moving,
Yes.
they are exploring, they are analyzing. But playing, it is important to have a play area, to have a free time during the working hours. But that's an entertainment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
For
So
sure.
that's the definition. Yes.
Definitely. And also, like, as you've mentioned, where they get the chance to explore things. So, does that even mean, making their, let's say, hand motions stronger? Sometimes with sand, as you mentioned, sometimes
Yes.
with Play Doh. So, is this
Water.
all with water? Definitely. So, is this all part of the, Montessori?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Montessori also it leads us that we use the nature environment. Okay, I too take the kids 6 to 8 hours. So I want them out of any devices, any technology, because definitely when they back home, they will find their parents using the devices, laptops or mobiles. That's let's say واقع يعني شنو
Yes,
reality.
Reality.
That's
Okay,
right.
It's reality. So let's go with the flow. I don't want them to get stressed. The parents, I don't want to stress them. Avoid the technology. No, I do give them like a guiding. How I guide them. Well, your kids, it's 6 to 8 hours with me.
Yes.
There is no devices. When they go back home, 30 minutes till 40 minutes, and it's divided with your 4 hours at home.
Right.
Because they're from 3 till 7, they're around. Then by 8, they're in bed.
Yeah,
So 4 hours at home, they may use it. They may use it. But make sure, that's what يعني my device is for parents. Make sure you know what's going on in the devices.
That's
TV
right.
and the iPads and all the devices actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, I've noticed, Fawzia, with kids these days, at 2 years old, they're able to open apps, use them.
navigate through
Yeah.
it. Yeah, which is really scary. Does the
They know
technology
more
impact?
than us.
That's
they know
right.
how to enter the app. They know how to download. They pick games. They know everything.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it is reality.
It is reality.
It's reality, and we have to face it, and we have to go with the flow with it.
Yeah.
We don't want to go against it, because there is positive things from the technology, and we're getting up to date. That's what I'm. Okay, I use Montessori, and I want to be up to date. What's going on? I want my kids go with the flow.
Right.
Yeah.
What about the technology? Because I've heard a lot of parents complaining that using technology, a lot of it, would impact the language development.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what's the result of using the devices for a long time? It makes the kid cannot interact. He
Yes.
just receives.
Okay.
He receives and he gets knowledge, but you find him as a very lonely kid,
Not socializing.
and not socializing.
Definitely.
And they have a comment that he cannot talk.
Yes.
Right.
He is good. I can see when, يعني, by the experience.
Yes.
1 minute of I get
Yes.
the baby, I get
You can
to know
tell,
he is
definitely.
okay. He's fine, but it's the only thing that he's receiving too much. He's not talking back to the, let's say, the YouTube channel he's
Yeah.
using.
Definitely.
So some of the parents, they want the baby to get quiet, sit down while they're eating.
Of course.
Well,
So using technology.
yes, that's why I say 30 to 40 minutes. Don't make it even 1 hour, but have to be divided. It's maybe can be used, and that's it.
Yeah.
Honestly, as someone on the outside, I completely agree, because when I see kids these days eating, it's very different than when we were kids. We used to eat, interact with our food, with our family. You know, we're touching the textures of the
Yes.
food.
Yeah.
I just see kids now
Socializing.
eating like robots and watching something, which to me, okay, I understand things are different these days, but it's not the best side, to be honest. And I don't feel like it's the healthiest.
Yeah.
Well, they gain weight
Yeah.
with that
Yeah.
type of routine and protocol. They get weight.
Yeah.
That's first of all. Second of all, they are not having the focus on the taste,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
smell,
Okay.
and they don't say if it's good or not.
They're
I like
full or
it or,
not. Yes.
yeah, and if I taste it well or no.
Yeah.
So sometimes I do a nice lunch. He do eat it, but he don't know what is it.
What is
Right.
it? Definitely.
So later on, when he's 3 years, 4 years, starts to express and have words, I want him to tell me he likes rice, he likes bananas, he likes apple.
Definitely.
I want him to tell me too what's the best taste for
Yes.
him or her.
Yes.
Makes
Okay,
sense.
yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So we've talked about, let's say the cons of technology and how it can affect actually the child itself while eating or doing any other, instead of socializing, just, staying on this device. Nowadays, most of the schools and nurseries have, gotten the approach of, introducing, let's say, the lesson or anything that they want to learn through technology, so through screens or through, let's say, applications. So what do you think of
That's
that?
6 years and above. Using the learning
Yes.
tools, that's more than
Okay.
perfect. But 6 and less, no.
Makes sense.
It's the worst decision the parent will take. No, I don't agree.
Okay.
And I do give them like another solutions.
Yeah.
Okay, I do give them another solutions. And here it goes, yes, they will not need the devices. And there's one thing, the modern raising up kids, the positive raising up kids, the new names we're having, it says that the parents want perfectionists, so they eat very politely, they sit and that's not right and it's not healthy for the baby.
That's
So we have to
Okay.
take care of that. Yes, yes.
Definitely. Well, this conversation is very interesting, ladies, but let's take a quick break.
Sure.
So we've been talking about like the technology and everything. So the modernized education regarding the children have been taken over so far for everything. But how about the traditional? Could you tell us the difference between them and what do you prefer?
Well, balancing between both, okay, will give us a very good result. Traditional raising up kids, it's more about giving rules. Well, we need rules for kids.
Yeah.
Yes, we know. We need to highlight rules, but not extreme till force
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
okay, that's and the modern raising up kid, well, too much let me say something, that the kids he's rising up the parents.
Yes.
Yes,
so
I've
true.
been seeing
Yes,
that,
yes,
to be
so
honest.
true.
I've been seeing that a lot.
It's,
vice
the
versa.
roles, the
Yes.
roles
Have been
yeah, and
reversed.
she comes down and the parents and the dad starts. Well, that's nice.
Yeah. Right.
Conversation and talking and going back and telling them what's right, what's wrong, and why
Yeah.
it's right, why it's right, and why I allowed you for that, and why not. That's perfect. But that's the modern and traditional. We used to have it actually.
That's right.
But traditional, we used to have too much rules.
Yes.
Which I do. Let's say before we have 10 rules from the parents. Now use the 3.
Fair enough.
Okay. Yes. 3 out of 10. Tamam. But changing the rules, that's a bad thing. No, he's a kid. It's your responsibility to save and keep him in a healthy track.
Yeah.
Okay, for everything. Okay, so the parents have to know if there's modern
Yes.
and you want to be up to date. No, you have the modern and up to date. Nowadays, you have to take care. You have to be protective, but not extreme. So let's go with balancing.
Yeah. Definitely.
Everything protective.
Right.
Okay, yes, I do protect my kid. That's my responsibility. Here I am
Yes.
to protect this, to keep him in a safe environment. I choose the right food. I choose the right nursery and school. I choose the right people. He's social. Yes, but too much, and keep him in like what you've asked me before.
Yes.
We started the homeschooling.
The homeschooling,
That's
yeah.
for my point of view the worst thing that you can make for the kid
Definitely.
till the end,
the end.
till the graduation of high school.
Yes.
No, they have to be in schools. They have to social. They have to experience life.
Definitely.
right.
That's actually very true. I know, Sarah, we talked off air since you mentioned the homeschooling, and I asked you about whether you think it is or not, healthy for a child to be homeschooled. And one of the main things we talked about is the child not being able to socialize. So, in your opinion, what might be other things that can affect a child if he or she is homeschooled other than socializing?
Cannot solve the problems in life he or she will face.
So life
course, yeah.
skills.
Yeah.
Okay, يعني that's where I've mentioned that's the worst
Yes.
decision that the parent can take.
And honestly, I believe that half of education in schools or even universities is life skills.
Yes.
So even at the age where we're still at
Yes,
university, we're
yes,
still
yes,
learning life
yes.
skills.
With nowadays in universities and up to date the knowledge, they have a specific subjects that teaches you and teaches all the students how to deal after university.
That's right.
That's everywhere
Yeah.
in the world now. It's coming. Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually also curious about the language because, like, in a modern day, we're all speaking in English, correct?
Yes.
And we're forcing also the children to learn English as like the first language. Does that kind of, I don't know, does it play a role regarding even Arabic? Because the kids don't have even the pronunciations, the correct
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
So does that affect learning English as a first language?
Well, it's
Arabic.
not our first language.
Yeah.
I have to highlight that.
Yes,
To
exactly.
Everywhere.
Yes.
Parents, families, everywhere. Well, it's not our first language. It's
Exactly.
our second language.
Yes.
Right.
It is important to have it because everything nowadays it's going on all in English. But we have to keep our
Identity.
yes, and it's good that in the CV that you speak two
Yes.
languages. Yes,
That's right.
Yes, and for the parents, it's good for them. To me, in my nurseries and what I teach, I do always highlight that Arabic is the first language, and we're teaching Arabic and some Islamic subjects like the Quran al-Kareem.
That's lovely.
Yes, we do that. And they get to know Al-Fatiha, Al-Ma'udat. Yes, I do let
Amazing.
them to have the knowledge of that. Some of them, they start to memorize it. And
That's amazing.
yes, alhamdulillah. And English and math and science and fun science.
Okay.
So it comes with the other subjects. Tamam? So after they graduate from me as a KG2, the parent will not be, let's say, where I take my baby.
Yes.
He is too much in English,
That's
or
right.
he's too much in Arabic.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah, all my graduates, they are good to be in, let's say, private school
or public schools.
or public schools or bilingual schools.
Okay.
Yes.
And I think
That's
that's
very
really
nice.
great because honestly, I'm seeing that with kids now that they basically speak English.
Yes.
And a lot of them can barely even communicate in Arabic. So my friend would be talking to me in Arabic, but as soon as she will talk to her children, it switches to English right away, which
Yes,
doesn't make
true.
sense to me. I'm going to talk about my personal experience. I come from a mixed family. I've lived between Kuwait, where we speak Arabic, and then Australia, where it's only English. So when I came back from the English schooling system there with zero Arabic, I had a really hard time
Yeah.
being integrated back into society. Work-wise, school-wise,
Yes.
my Arabic classes were impossible for me because there was a big gap. So the fact that parents are actually choosing to only teach their children English, I can see how it's going to cause a lot of problems for them in the
definitely.
future.
But there are
Yes.
also like different options now. There's German nurseries. There are some French.
And French
Yes.
And then like, the
schools.
languages keep like,
Yeah,
extending.
there's
Yes.
some nurseries are doing the French.
Yeah.
And there's a very few curriculum, a Germany curriculum.
Yes.
They have, they're working with the guideline of German. But French, yes, it is possible. It
Yes.
is-
Yeah.
yeah, they
Definitely.
may have a knowledge. They
Yeah.
have, yes.
But do you think
Yes.
that's good for a child to learn so many languages, for example?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
That's lovely.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Languages is something that is very beautiful, I believe.
They're very talented.
Definitely.
They're very talented. We can use their mental and talent
Yeah.
and challenge they have in 3 triple languages, skills. They just we focus on the weakness and the strength,
Definitely.
and they have maybe 3 to 4 skills, not only one.
I've also heard that a child is just like a sponge, so
Yes,
whatever
yes,
you
yes,
teach
yes.
at a very young age,
Yes,
he will
of course.
directly grasp it. I know, girls, we've been talking a lot and the conversation is getting interesting, but let's take a break for now.
Sure.
Okay, I've been really interested to ask this question actually about, especially as a parent, when I come to choose a nursery or search for a nursery for my kids. What can I search for, or what can I, exactly see in a nursery? What can, be beneficial for my kids? And how do I do that? Like, especially, as you've mentioned, your nursery is bilingual, so this is something that that makes me very happy. I do know my kids are learning both languages, and they do get, a good amount of balance from the Arabic language. So how can I choose the correct nursery?
Okay, let's start with the new parents. Today I am a parent and I have a kid within 2 years or 2 years and a half. Okay, and I start to search for a nursery. And I go for at least, let's say, 3 nurseries. One very close to my house, one I've heard about it, and one is close to my workplace. Okay? Here we go, how I decide. It's how you feel. The mother has like what we call in cars sensors.
Yes.
What's sensors?
Yes.
Yeah.
The mother and the father, they have sensors of, first, do you feel the warmth? Is it the learning plan very clear? Can I be, when they come and start to, let's say, explain to me, those are 3 nurseries, is it very clear or it's too perfect? Am I involved in the first days, or are you gonna take the baby as the traditional way
Yes.
they take the baby, then I stay with the baby 5 minutes, then I start to hide and he starts, or she, the baby starts to cry. That's a very big mistake, a very big mistake. It's cause that the baby gets a trust issue, too much engagement with the mother. So the mother, she don't have any benefits.
Right.
So we had the feeling, the warmth, clear plan learning, and of course the place. There is so much parents, they take the first appearance about the interior, about the lady in the reception, about the cost of money. Okay, that's mostly they goes. But I do tell them, it's you're a first, you're a new parent, and you have a very, very strong sensor. Use it. They don't know about it, but when I do highlight it, it pulps with them. So use it. Is it warmth?
Yes.
And you feel the welcoming. And am I, as a parent, involved? I can call at what time I can call. Can I be there? That's very important.
Yes,
So, yes.
definitely. So you've mentioned really good points, which is the location is really important,
yes,
and
this
then
is-
the warmth or the welcoming of the place.
Yes.
Especially if you've heard a very nice reputation about this
Yes,
nursery.
of course.
Because at the end of the day, you are putting your kids in
Yes.
this nursery, and you want them to be safe.
Yes.
I know we've also talked about you accepting children from the 2 months of age.
Yes.
So that is
Yes.
something very heartwarming, and I really like this about.
I'd
the
love
nursery.
to help the busy parents.
Okay.
Yes.
And I am and I agree that we don't keep the baby with a nanny.
Yeah.
It's not about that the nanny is a bad thing. No, no, she may help at home things. Okay, but she cannot take care of the baby. And in the nurseries, we are a big staff.
Yeah.
Cameras everywhere. Okay, you may call, and there's another babies. So There is an infant baby within 6 months can see the baby with 1 year and 2 years how to walk. So it's going to be faster for them.
Right.
Yes, even how to express,
Definitely.
it's going to be faster. But for the busy parents, they do need to keep, I prefer and I suggest, keep the baby in a nursery.
Yeah.
Where also a nurse will keep
Will be
following, yes, for the infants, I keep a nurse and I take up to 4 to 6 infants per year.
Okay.
Okay, so I can give the quality,
care.
yes, the quality of work. And the nurse is following up
Definitely.
with the parents, and there's a daily report from the nurse to even for the temperature, something, especially the infants, they are very sensitive.
delicate.
Yes,
Exactly.
the nanny cannot do that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay, the nanny. Well, let's the nanny take care of the
House
things
chores.
and
Other
the house
things.
things to help the mother.
Yeah.
And saying, I don't mind. It's good to have a nanny if you can offer it. It's a great, and it's in our culture. It's very
Common.
common. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's very healthy to keep the infants in nursery. It's very safe also.
Yeah.
Yes.
What about like overprotective parents? You know, like especially the first child,
Yeah.
where they would request from the nursery that we want full cameras. You want to
Yes.
watch our kids on
Yeah.
telephone, and want to keep.
Yeah, they
Is
do
that-
keep ask me, is there an online camera?
Yeah.
Is there an online camera?
How do you feel about
Is
it?
there an online cameras? That's the all. Oh, yeah. I always been asked for that. Well, no, there's no online
Yes.
cameras.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go to your work.
Yeah.
Go get your coffee.
Focus.
Focus on your life.
So a
Focus
daily
on yourself.
report.
You have time. She's
Yeah.
the baby in a safe place.
Yeah.
If
Makes
you don't feel safe, yes, okay, you may take your baby
Yeah.
and find something else.
Yes.
But being a very protective parent, it's a very hard thing for the parent. They don't feel, they're stressed all the time.
Yes.
And the baby will be stressed and
Yes.
sick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm stressed, I'm scared all the time, and the baby gets sick all the time.
Yeah.
And especially when it goes 1 year, 1.5 years, don't do that and don't do.
Yes.
Too many rules.
But how do you work with that,
Definitely.
especially as an overprotective parent? Because I know, like
time.
friends.
Yeah, by time.
Yeah.
By
Yeah.
time. I have patience with them. I do understand them.
Yeah.
I do understand them. Maybe they come from a different environment.
Yes. Right.
They raised up like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Well, I do. It's by time, but I'm very clear with them, especially when they have the daily reports from us, from the nurse for the infants
Yeah.
or the toddlers.
Yes.
There's a
Yes.
nurse also and the teacher who's assisting them. By time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First week it's a very hard week for them, and sometimes they get nervous. Sometimes they have a
breakdown?
Yeah.
yes,
course.
yes. We do understand them. We do, and we have to be patient.
Yes.
It's my role
Right.
to understand them and understand their feelings.
Yeah.
Yes. But I don't recommend to be too much protective.
But what would that affect? Like if I'm being super protective over the child, when they're when they're grown, like they're adults, does that impact how I was being super
a
protective over
shy
them?
baby?
Really?
Okay, and a weak baby.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's a trust issue. Yes.
Even
trust-
development when they're grown?
Yes, yes. Because here, early years, it's the base of everything. It is the base of everything. You can tell. I don't mean that putting the baby in nursery, that's the great thing base. Also, the house environment, it's the base. So, okay, you want to protect, you have to highlight why I'm protecting you from that.
Yes.
Especially when, even if they are 2 years, they understand that.
Yeah.
They
Definitely.
understand. Yes, they do understand.
And
That's
how can
amazing.
you parents basically avoid this unhealthy attachment with their children in
They
the
have
early
to
years?
come to
The right place.
the
A
right
specialist.
place, specialists, people from experience, the parent who have 3 babies, let's say, especially the 3 babies, they relax.
Yes.
everything is
That's
okay.
right.
Yes. So they have to take the knowledge from other experience and the specialists, schools, nurseries. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Well, Sarah, thank you so much for giving us all this advice when it comes to children and
Most
early education and
Most
development.
welcome.
And thank you for
Most
coming
welcome.
today.
Thank you.
Definitely,
you
we're
so
glad to
much.
have you. Thank you so much.
Well, you're most welcome. And anytime, any questions, anything, I'm very happy to answer that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies. It was great. Thank you.